The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Carsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And how about that fresh new intro we got?
We did, yeah. We flew Justin personally to Orlando on the CP Rundown credit card and made it happen.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything in Orlando. He flew first class, recorded, and left.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Straight here. He flew straight here. He rolled up to my place in a convertible, recorded, and then drove home.
The funny thing
That
is,
sounds exactly like our neighborhood announcer, not gonna lie. Love it. By the way, hopefully you guys can notice the difference as well, because Santa gave me a gift down the chimney a little early, and I got a new microphone, so hopefully...
Did he also use the CP Rundown credit card?
Yeah, right?
I hope not, because that thing's about maxed out.
Yeah, I keep paying it down, and everybody keeps borrowing it, so I think Evan's up next.
Yep, my turn.
I love it.
Yeah,
Anyways.
So it's been like 2 weeks since you recorded. If we're gonna stick to that 2 episodes a month quota, we got to get in now.
Right. Yep. Month is going by. Month is definitely going by.
Month is almost halfway over.
Sadly, yeah. And then it's a new year, but
Merry
I'm
Christmas.
excited for the new year. So, you know.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah.
We might be able to
Kwanzaa?
squeak one more in. I'm not sure
I
yet.
think we will.
I think we will. After what news is supposed to drop possibly within the next few weeks or so, I think we will.
Yeah.
And finals week is over for me, so we're good. Well,
I do fly back to Ohio next Thursday, and I'm not taking the podcasting gear. So if we're gonna get another one in, it's got to be before next Thursday.
Okay. Fair.
interesting. Okay.
We will make sure that we do a little meetup for you at Kings Island, and we'll have a bunch of fans that'll just, be greeting you at the airport.
Yeah, hopefully. I am flying into Detroit though, so not really close to any parks.
Well,
Well, that sucks.
we'll make it happen. But anyway,
We could be like the cool kids and go to Cleveland, but
Cleveland is so far away from my house that it is closer to fly into Detroit.
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a 2 hour, because I had to drive to Justin's house. It was about 2 hours. So
Yeah, to DTW, I'm about an hour and a half, and then Cleveland, I'm over 2.
Well. Anyways, we're recording, so getting a little.
Little off topic. Yeah, we'll save this for when the Patreon drops. So, Wild Mouse.
big update. Evan, you wanna throw us some update to Wild Mouse?
I mean, it's done. That's what I got to say. It is done. Track is done. There's a cute homage to Wildcat at the top of the lift hill. If you look at the webcams, you could see it. It's kind of like blue. It's like the new age Blue Streak cupola, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
have
a
no
cat like trying to grab your little mouse car or the cheese specifically.
Yeah, I think that looks
So-
really cool. I'm excited. Like,
Cute.
we saw it in the renderings, and I was like, I wonder if it's gonna, if it's
if
gonna
that
do
makes it.
justice. But when Tony posted the pictures of it and everything, looks great. Looked really
that's-
good.
And if you look at the webcams, you could see that Grand Pavilion's really coming along nicely too. Looks really, really good.
Tony was at the Great Ohio Coaster Club event, and he was talking a little bit about the Grand Pavilion, and I know a lot of people were asking, and we were asking as well, if you'll be able to enter from the Grand Pavilion on the opposite side, like on the outside of the park, the boardwalk area, and the answer
actual
is
boardwalk,
no.
I guess.
Yep, the answer is no. You're not going to be able to enter into the park from the Grand Pavilion. But what is kind of cool, and they showed off a little bit of pictures, was you're able to walk underneath the Grand Pavilion under the boardwalk. So that's kind of like cool how you ties in. There's like a like an overhang where you can kind of like sit and look at the lake and stuff and everything. And Tony
And that
said
hangs
that there's
over the actual physical boardwalk.
right. And then Tony also said, there's supposed to be like a restaurant on the bottom. They're still finalizing the menu, so they haven't
Like
really
a full service restaurant?
that's what I got from it, because when he said that upstairs is going to have a bar and then it's also going to have like a quick serve restaurant. So
Yeah, so why would he make that distinction if the bottom floor isn't going to be a full service thing?
right,
That's cool.
right. So that'll be really cool. And then also he's like, you can go to the bar or whatever and grab a Coke or grab, an alcoholic drink or something, and then sit on a seat or whatever and just look at the lake and look at the view and stuff.
Look at the park too.
And then also he said that he also said that he was really kind of sketched with the whole giant wheel. Why is it staying? We should have moved it, kind of thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that's one of the coolest spots because he was able to get a tour the other day, he said. But he's able to see, and all you see is the giant wheel like on the opposite side, and he said it's a really cool view. All you see is like the park landscape and the park, everything around it and stuff. So I'm excited to see that and see what comes about, and yeah, so
It's funny that he had the same opinion of giant wheel staying as we did. Like,
well yeah, it's kind of like, well, you put that new awesome Grand Pavilion in over there, but then it's like blocked by the giant wheel. But I'm excited to see. So,
Cool.
But yeah, so I think that's about like the big update and everything that I heard from, at least for that. So
The Great Ohio Coaster Club holiday party.
I'm still really excited about the Grand Pavilion. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to love going up to that bar on a hot summer day and just sitting and relaxing and having some drinks. But
Nice lake breeze.
Yeah. I almost wonder why. Because remember, like, when Gatekeeper got put in and then we ripped out the all-wheel sport stadium and all that stuff, and the excuse was to open up that view of the lake, and now we're closing
And now
it.
we're completely closing it in.
And now
again.
we're closing it back in.
I guess, though, that this provides, like, the point of the Grand Pavilion is the view of the lake, though.
Yeah, and I mean,
So,
like,
it's give and take, I guess.
well, and at the end of the day, the pavilion's going to be a lot nicer to look at than that giant concrete stadium. So, like, I get it. It's just...
Or disaster transport.
Yeah, or disaster transport. It just made me scratch my head a little bit, but I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a really, really good addition to the park. I believe everyone's like, oh, they're getting a stupid ride and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and we did get to see like where Scrambler was, and also Matterhorn.
Are they already
And
gone?
we literally saw just blank land. There was just dirt. So yeah.
So he brought pictures of that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So yeah, I'm
Well,
pretty
so
excited.
we'll be seeing those two pop up on the webcams like really soon then.
Right.
In their new spots. Atomic Scrambler. You got to
Right.
call it its proper name.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, interesting. And where was that Great Ohio Coaster Club Christmas party at?
it was in Akron at like a pizza party kind of thing. So
And that's
it
something
was like a pizza place, I guess you could say, like a pizza party planning pizza
Yeah.
place or something. So
and that's
was
something
nice.
they do every year, right?
the what?
That's something they do every year, right?
Yeah, they do a holiday party pretty much every single year. They've done it. That was our 30th anniversary for a holiday party.
Wow.
At least that's what it said on the thing. So yeah, it's really cool because you get some cool, like,
They give you a lot of free stuff. That's all I know.
yeah, they give you a lot of free stuff. You get like, some prizes and things like that, some free tickets to things if you win stuff and everything. So really cool. And plus, like, Don was there, we got to hear a little bit about what Kings Island's doing and stuff, and like the theming that they're wanting to add to Adventure Express.
Hey, let's talk about Kings Island because we are a Cedar Fair podcast. Let's
Okay.
hear what Don said.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of what exactly he said, but he said some of the theming that they're hoping to add to the Adventure Express, the new, because it's getting upgraded and everything, is they're wanting to put some of the theming that they thought to put on the ride when the ride first opened. and it never made the list. It never came to fruition. So he was
Okay,
saying
cool.
that they're going to add some stuff that like it's going to be really cool, and then they were going to add some stuff that was supposed to be on the ride but never made it on the ride. So I'm like, I'm excited.
So if we look at some of the original concept art, we'll see some of this. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah. So, and then he also was talking about how, obviously coaster stock, tickets will be going on sale. I think he said like the first or second week or so ish, in January.
Cool.
So
I'm super pumped for that.
Maybe you shouldn't have said that part.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
So did you get to see any other, fans or friends of the show?
Oh yeah. Actually, we got a bunch of people came in through or whatever, and they were, they were like, hey, love the podcast. Thanks for doing the podcast, and it's kind of getting me through, the off season and just listening to you guys. And they also said, we're critiquing ourselves and we're really hard on ourselves. And there's like, I've listened to some podcasts and stuff, and they're just kind of boring and just kind of blah, and their audio sounds really bad, but your guys' sound like really good. So just to give you guys a heads up. Yeah. So they enjoy hearing us, which was really cool. So,
and then there was another, Christmas party that I always enjoyed when I was an employee at good old Cedar Point. But did you get to go to the Screamster Christmas party?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately not.
That's disappointing.
I know. Yeah, I have a real job, and I didn't get done with my real job until really late. So
that's understandable.
That's lame. But yeah, so and then if we want to go right into more updates, I guess, with what's next on the list, real quick, since we're talking about it, back to Cedar Point. Tony did talk about Winter Chill Out, and he didn't say exactly what was going to be changed with Winter Chill Out, but he said that it was going to be more accessible to people, and he says that we won't be buying tickets. And I'm like, well, you won't be buying tickets. So I don't know what that means. He said more details will be coming very shortly. So he said within 3 days, and that was on Saturday. So give or take, maybe we'll hear it this week, kind of thing or something. I don't know, but
I mean,
so
they can definitely fit more people into Winter Chill Out than they do. Like I understand that traditionally, it's a day and the employees go with their time. But I mean, how many times? I know you guys do the early groups, but I always go for the latest group in the day. And it seems like there's times where I'm walking around and there's no one within like a mile of me.
Yeah. Even when I do the early group and I'm there all day with, basically all the groups in the park at the same time, I rarely run into anybody. Like I have the park to myself.
Yeah. I'm not normally one for overcrowding, but I definitely think a
couple thousand more people in there wouldn't hurt anything.
Yeah. Same. Like that's exactly how I feel.
The only thing logistically is like food and the Q&A session, but I'm sure they could figure that out.
Right. I mean, the only thing that I wish they would do is maybe extend it. Like if they're going to have all those people and stuff or whatever, maybe they extend it a day or two or a weekend or something. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm like, well, maybe we'll be able, maybe this big news story for Winter Chill Out will drop, and then we'll be able to do another episode before Kyle decides to fly down here on Thursday, and we can record something and talking about what details is that. He did also mention, by the way, that Wild Frontier Nights are awesome favorite, like adult themed cool experience.
They're coming back.
It is coming back. Yeah, it's actually coming back. So
that is the best event that they have done. That period.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Someone asked like how much the price would be. He didn't know the price offhand. So yeah, and then
Similarly
also really
priced, I would assume.
And then also really quick, he did say that the Grand Pavilion will be. I don't know if he meant like the upstairs, like fast food kind of restaurant thing or whatever, or the bottom. He did say that someone asked if it was going to be on the meal plan. He said yes. So I don't know what that entails. So
this reminds me a lot of the place at Busch Gardens Tampa where the bottom is like that Serengeti outlook and like the giraffe bar, and there's a couple quick services, and then upstairs there's a lounge. And I know there's not a restaurant up there, but if you go sit up there, because that's their pass holder lounge, if you go sit up there, they'll bring you like all the food. So I wonder if it's something like that where it's the same food from downstairs, but you have like a dedicated server, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
cool. That'd be super cool.
I haven't really seen any concept art from the inside yet or anything. So I'm curious to see what happens, you know? So,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much all I got from that GOCC party and what
now
Tony
you
and
have
Don shared.
Now you have some CP rundown updates for us too.
Yeah, so I just keep talking to. I feel like it's a lot me today. No, yeah. So
okay. I'll be talking a lot about Winterfest. So
there you go. We'll split that up. But yeah, so we are obviously selling our CP rundown calendar. If you order it now, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get there before Christmas because they're printed on demand and then they are shipped from the company that we print them from, right from their door to your door. So I don't think it. I don't think it's going to happen. It might if you order like tonight or tomorrow or whenever this airs. It might get there by Christmas, but there's no guarantee, unfortunately.
But if you're
we
buying
have
it for
sold
yourself, it'll get here by New Year's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a new calendar for New Year's. So, you know, if you guys order something and you guys don't get it by Christmas, I can always send you like a cover photo that you guys can print out and be like, hey, it's coming. You know, you can put that under the tree as, you know, like kind of like.
I've totally done that before. Like, sorry, this hasn't gotten here yet, but this
Right.
is what I did get you.
Yeah. So that way someone's not feeling left out or anything.
Open.
So, but that's pretty much all. I mean, I thank you so much for all the sales that we've gotten on the calendars. It's been
one of the better years yet, huh?
I'd say so. That I know at the holiday party they did. A lot of people did say that they liked the front graphic. They were like, "How'd you get that photo?" I was like, "Well." I was like, the VP Evan was able to get a sunrise tour on Raven. And, you know, so they were like, that's so cool. I'm like, I know, right? I was like, I saw that
actually took a good picture.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, that is a great picture. Plus, you know, it's cool because it showcased a lot of the park, but then it also showcased Rougarou, which doesn't get a whole lot of love. Or it's always got that one freaking picture of the hill and the loop, and then that's literally it. Like I'm like, can you please take a different picture of Rougarou? So yeah,
there's your little TED talk for Rougarou.
Yeah, that's
take different pictures of Rougarou.
Take different angles of Rougarou.
Yeah. Actually, get in line for the ride, and you will find that there's some really good angles of it. From there.
You can take some good.
If you went and rode the actual ride every once in a while.
Right. Yeah. Or for instance, you could ride a Snake River Expedition before the leaves grow in, and you could take some because I actually got some pretty good shots riding the boat or the train, for instance. The train ride's actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
So,
there you go. That's
for all the hate on Rougarou, I freaking love that ride. So
yeah, me too. So there's everybody's homework for the next year. Is for next year's calendar and get us better pictures of Rougarou. Yeah.
Hey Kyle, how about you take the floor and you talk about your Yeti update?
Yeah, so I kind of dropped the ball on this one, and that's like 100% my fault. You know, you guys came to town, we had some other people here, and then I've been really busy lately. So the Yetis are going to be ordered this weekend. We have decided that we are going to get the 20-ounce version, the smaller one, because the logos look a lot better on there.
I agree.
So I know it's been weeks at this point, but we do have the messages of people that reached out and said they wanted to get them. So we will probably be reaching back out to you once we find a solid price and just to make sure you're still interested. I did find that we're most definitely not going to qualify for that group rate because you have to order 50, and that's just that's not feasible for us.
No.
So today is Tuesday. I'm either going to be posting the podcast tonight or tomorrow. If you listen to this before then and you want one, you have until like Sunday afternoon before I put that order in. So please reach out to us if you haven't. And if you already have, we're going to be reaching back out to you just to make sure you're still interested. They should be around $30 to $35 per tumbler. And that's just because we have to pay like a logo artwork fee. So they're a little more expensive than you would get them in the actual store. But yeah, we're going to be, once you do confirm to us that like you actually want one, we will send you the available colors right now. I think there's like 7 or 8 different colors. So yeah, this Sunday is when we're going to put the order in.
Sweet.
Exciting stuff.
It is, yeah. So get on board if you want a mug. So
I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a one-time purchase. I don't think we will ever offer this again.
Probably not. We might do something different, but probably not.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
again, so.
As long as like as far as this specific product and logo, because who knows, we might get a new logo. This will probably be the only time you can get merch. Yeah. So
maybe
then it'd be kind of cool. Maybe we'll come out with a giant Yeti cooler to buy next.
Yeah. So
yeah, for the low price of $400.
Yeah. So during
the CP Rundown Yeti cooler
during Coaster Mania or Coaster Stock, you can come out to one of our cars and get a free bottle of water out of the Rundown on Fun Tundra
with a sticker on the cap.
Yeah.
They're like, so where's Kyle, Carsten, and Evan? I'm looking for that free bottle of water. We're like,
like running around the park hiding from people.
Yeah. In all actuality, like we hadn't even bought bottles of water, so we're just hoping that no one takes us up on it.
Right.
Just an angry mob following us around the park.
Right. Good Lord.
But yeah,
I love it.
That's my little update. This Sunday is when we are going to put that order in.
Sounds good.
I'm so excited.
All right, Evan.
Cool. So speaking of Kings Island, because Coaster Stock, whatever. Yeah. That was really, really poor transition, but it's fine.
I know we haven't done this in like 2 weeks, but you need to get better at that.
My bad. I'm sorry. Anyways, I've been to Kings Island twice for Winterfest already, and long story short, I think this year is probably their best for Winterfest.
Wow.
It is also busiest. It has been both times I was there opening night, and obviously not a great smart move on my part, but I also went this past Saturday with pretty nice weather. I think the park was busy enough that it would have been busy with like full park operations.
Wow.
So yeah, it was slammed. But that's really good to see because that means the park is making money.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's not really anything different about Winterfest this year. It's all the same rides that we've had the last, I don't know, since it opened in 2017. But Mystic Timbers is open, Flight of Fear is open, a lot of the flat rides are open, especially in Coney Mall. And if you count like Shake, Rattle, and Roll as Coney Mall. And then Planet Snoopy, Boo Blasters, that's all open. Mystic Timbers is running great still. We were even saying on Saturday how it literally feels like it's running as fast, if not faster, than a hot summer night. For some reason. I don't know what the heck they do to that ride. I didn't get the tree. I probably rode that ride 10 times over the 2 visits, and I didn't get the tree once. But that's all right. The food this year is out of this world.
Yeah, talk a little bit about. I'm kind of sad that they don't have the buffet at.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
I haven't tried anywhere near any like all their new food. Actually, I don't think I actually did try any of their new food. But so of the stuff that they do have that's Christmassy or new or whatever, first off, Hank's Mexican Grill, which is in what will be the new Adventure Port area.
Oh, that's still open?
Yes. You could even still walk along the midway there and look over the fence and see the dirt.
That's going to be a quick turnaround for them if they close in January. And
they've only got like it's only like a 70 or 80 day layoff kind of thing until they open back up, kind of.
Well, so the reason I feel like is because they couldn't do Winterfest without Hank's mac and cheese bar.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Incredible. I've gotten that twice. So good. It's mac and cheese or loaded fries.
I was gonna say I've had like over there by Diamondback's drop. They've got across the street from the funnel cake place. They've got like the place that they have French fries. Well, they get I've gotten sweet potato fries with maple syrup, and then there was also ham that was drizzled all over there. So stinking good.
So all that stuff is still there. and I believe they have like a ham and cheese poutine type thing with their fresh cut fries.
Ooh.
They have like a giant loaded baked potato, and I think all this stuff is on the meal plan. I didn't get a chance to try there. The mac and cheese bar / French fries bar. I mean, it's literally, you have 4 different types of cheeses even you could choose from. There's like a beer cheese, a regular mac and cheese sauce. There's like a spicy cheese sauce. And then there's every hot topping you can think of, like grilled onions, grilled peppers, I think sauerkraut, chicken, beef, this, that, whatever.
Wow.
All the cold toppings you can think of, a bunch of different sauces. And like, then at the very end, there's like sprinkled stuff on top. So like breadcrumbs, pretzel pieces, barbecue chips, pita chips, a huge selection. I mean, it's really, really good. And it's not necessarily unhealthy. They have a lot of healthy options there too. Like I was noting that you could pretty much make like a broccoli chicken, like Alfredo type thing with the noodles. Okay. So that's at Hank's. So then Coney Barbecue is the other place I frequented a lot. They have pulled pork, which is their normal pulled pork that they have during the summer, but it's super, super good. I mean, just in general, it's probably the best park pulled pork I've ever had. They have ham, they have turkey, they have stuffing, they have all your kind of, homey, Christmassy, Thanksgiving meals. They give these they're like mini Red Lobster cheddar biscuits with every meal. Oh my God, they are so good.
And where's this one at?
Coney Barbecue, across from Racer.
Okay.
And then I know Chicken Shack does over by Banshee does it like garlic parm wings during this time of year. And then like you were saying, the place by Diamondback, what is that? Rivertown Potato Works. And then they have specialty hot chocolate at Grader's. They have like a blue ice cream hot chocolate. They have a raspberry chip hot chocolate, which was fantastic. A s'mores hot chocolate. I love how I only ever talk about food on this podcast.
It sounds good though, And
then Skyline is open, of course. La Rosa's is open. You could still get your funnel cakes. Oh, the French Quarter, which they changed the name of during this time of year, but it's the little place right under the Eiffel Tower, kind of like by Chick-fil-A. They have a shepherd's pie, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And chicken and dumplings, which sound great.
Do they still have Tom and Chi offered?
No Tom and Chi. Tom and Chi becomes a hot chocolate stand for the refillable mugs. Okay. And then Brew House. So in years past, they did have a buffet, and that was like really, really, really good. They stopped doing that, unfortunately. And it's pretty much just Brew House with a couple extra holiday items. So they have a meatloaf burger, which people have been raving about, and then a fried bologna sandwich, and some sort of empanada that I can't remember the type.
I'm not a crazy fan of bologna, but I'm gonna have to try that.
People say it's really good. And then if you do want a buffet, they do have like a really hoity-toity one up in International Restaurant for like $33.
I was just gonna ask if they still did up in the International Restaurant.
Okay.
Yes, I can't remember what the menu is, but it's it's fancy.
Yeah, I did it one year. It was really good.
I would love to do it, but it's up there. It's expensive. So,
it's like $30, I think, or so, right? Or something like that.
33 this year.
Yeah. But you get a lot of like carved meats and things like that. So I mean, it's very like you're paying $30, but it'll be really worth it.
You would pay $50 for that type of meal at a real restaurant. So.
Right. Plus, I mean, you get the cool view. You're in the International Restaurant, and so you get to see,
especially once all the lights come on
going down.
And the lights this year are better than they've ever been. The whole park seems really, really densely decorated. Like I was kind of talking when I was at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, the lights weren't great. There wasn't a lot of lights.
Yeah.
No, Kings Island knocks it out of the park. It looks so good. We also decorated cookies over at Mrs. Claus's Kitchen, which is actually just the main gift shop on the left side of International Street, the Emporium. They kind of cut it in half and make it a cookie decorating place. That's a lot of fun. $20, you get 4 cookies, and they're giant, and they taste good. And they give you a ton of frosting and sprinkles. That's fun.
Did you say you get to decorate your own cookies? I literally would probably be like, I'll put the frosting right in my mouth and be like, well, my cookie doesn't have any frosting. So they give you 4 cups that are like probably 2 or 3 inches tall, filled with different colored frost. So there's a white, red,
blue and green. You get
I'd be like, excuse me, can I get a refill on my frosting? It's all over my face.
Frosting. It's so good. And they have a bunch of sprinkles too that you could add.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
And the cookies, of course, are in like there's a stocking and a tree and a snowman. I think there's a fourth shape, but they had ran out of that when we went. But
okay.
Yeah, Winterfest is super fun.
Did you see any shows?
We did not, because it was so busy. We didn't get a chance to like get through the park and do.
Well, you said you saw at least the parade, right?
We saw it from Coney Barbecue as we were eating, and we were in that like enclosed. They like enclose the outdoor seating and make it nice and heated, and it's not really the most see-through because it gets dirty.
Yeah.
But we did see the parade go by, and it looks nice. I was kind of laughing the beginning of the parade song. Well, the parade is all Christmas music, but the beginning of it sounds exactly like the intro to the CP 150 parade. I was telling you, Carsten.
Yeah.
But
do they do anything?
The floats look really good too.
Do they do anything on International Street, like how they did with the fun fireworks in 50?
So the parade goes through International Street, or goes up to International Street. But other than that, they just have the tree lighting ceremony at 5:30. Which I guess we did kind of watch that just because we happened to be there. But I've heard a lot of good things about their shows too. I don't know the names of them, but the one in the Fest House. There's special food in Fest House too. I don't know what.
The one in the Fest House is Tinker's Toy Factory.
Okay. So I've heard a lot of good things about that one, and then there's one in
one's been there
Kings Island Theater.
I'm pretty sure Tinker's has been there since Winterfest became a thing again in 2017.
I'll have to check that out because I'm going down there this weekend. So
cool. Good.
Sweet.
Good. So this is like the best year for Kings Island's Winterfest, and I feel like it's only going to get better with the addition of Adventure Port next year. I feel like those rides are primed to operate during the winter, and hopefully, maybe Don, if you're listening, if you could pull some strings and get us Adventure Express too, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that thing would valley with how like down in there it is.
Yeah, maybe.
Let them send it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What's going to happen is it's going to valley on the opening night when there's 50,000 people there. That's what's going to happen.
Hey, opening night this year was like 60 degrees. It's definitely operated in colder than that.
True.
Yeah.
Or hear me out, throw some wheel heaters on Orion, and let's go for it.
And not have it for the spring? That'd be great.
Six Flags sends Nitro in like 15 degrees.
That would be.
Let's do it.
I was just about to say something about that because Six Flags, if you haven't noticed, doesn't do any of their coasters anymore for any of their holiday in the parks.
That's not true.
They do a little bit of their coasters, but I remember when they first announced it, they were like, the whole park's open. It's great. Yeah. Awesome. And then,
Nitro, Jersey Devil, Green Lantern, and Superman are all open.
Wow.
And Joker.
Running one train.
Okay, but like when it's 15 degrees out, do you really need more than one train?
And do you really need to ride a coaster when it's 15 degrees out?
Do you really need to go to the park? Do you really need to leave your home?
Oh gosh. Well, anyway,
it's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna segue into something more positive than we just left.
Six Flags. We totally love you still.
Yeah, right. But, Six Flags.
I'll have you know, I have been a Six Flags pass holder since 2019, and I have not been to a Six Flags park to even process the damn thing.
Oh man.
Whose fault is it really though?
That is Dean's fault.
Over Georgia.
No, because I bought it at Great America, so I have to process it at Great America.
Can't you just pay like a difference or something?
Probably not anymore.
I don't know.
Maybe they'd be like, you know what? You've had this pass not processed for 5 years. Whatever park that you visit, just go process it somewhere.
I don't know. I better be able to process it. I'm still paying for it. They charge me every month.
Okay.
They're like, well, thanks.
They take $12 a month out of my account.
And you'll even get the upgrade because you paid through COVID, right?
Yeah, I did.
Well, the thing is they're like, they've changed their passes like every month they change their passes and stuff. So now like your pass, my pass, or whatever, like doesn't include all the parks. It's just like, okay, it's just your home park and that's it. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Anyway, that $300 that you've given them over the last 3 or 4 years, that's the entire maintenance budget for their coasters.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why
how
That's why they can't afford anything different. I don't give them enough money every month.
Yeah. Speaking of affording things, it's Christmas time.
All right,
It's
that one was.
holidays. See, that's how you do it, Evan. That's
That
how
one
you
was
do it.
better.
Oh, bite me.
So we all were tasked by Kyle. He gave us a little bit of homework to come up with some cool, at least one gift idea that the parks, Cedar Fair parks, are offering. So Kyle, you go first.
Yeah, so we thought this would be a kind of a fun, like for that Cedar Fair fan in your life, cool things that you could get them that won't necessarily break the bank. I think we all picked a different park. Mine's from Cedar Point. So
Yep.
I'm big on the posters and the wall art and the decorations and everything like that. So mine is any of the canvas arts on the Cedar Point shop. I believe prior to this, I know the park's closed right now, but the past couple of years they've been sold in that like art gallery on the Frontier Trail.
Studio.
Yes.
Yeah, Frontier Studio. So there's a cool like disaster transport one. There's a Gemini one, a whitewater landing, gatekeeper. So they're really cool, and they have that old retro design that I like. And they're only like, I think they're like $75. So like they're kind of expensive, but it's also like a good like big
It's
Christmas
quality.
gift. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those
and
are
then
cool.
how do we get to that page, Kyle? What's the website address?
The website is cedarpointonlineshop.com. And then if you're specifically looking for the canvases, there's a drop-down menu that says all categories. And then there's one that says home and decor. It's in there.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
I
there's
really love like the parks focus on making, and this is all the Cedar Fair parks, making merchandise that is like not dorky to hang up in your home. Like it's actually like tasteful.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, it's just a coaster and blah blah. You would want to show like your non-coaster. Like I've shown my non-coaster friends, and all of my non-coaster friends have liked some of the made to throw shirts that I wear, or something of like that. It's got really good taste, and it's like
It's actually art and not just like here's the coaster logo and some stats.
right.
Yeah, Carsten can tell you we have like a double gallery wall of made to thrills in our living room. They're they're too high all the way across.
From what
Looks
Cedar
really
Point
really
and Kings
good.
Island?
Cedar Point, Kings Island. There's a couple from Knott's in there. There's
Lots of Disney.
Lots of Disney. There's none from Canada's Wonderland, but
yeah. Speaking of Canada's Wonderland,
see what I did? I set you up.
That's good.
And I picked up on it. I was really smart. So Canada's Wonderland, like within the last week, just came out with their first line of made to thrill.
Yeah, it is their first, and I think there's 5. It's either 4 or 5.
I think 4. So it's Leviathan, Behemoth, their Giga and Hyper coasters. If you're comparing to Kings Island, Orion, and Diamondback, in case you don't know anything about Canada Wonderland, the Bat, which is actually their boomerang coaster, and what was the last one? Oh, Yukon Striker, their dive coaster. And just like everything else from Made to Thrill, we've definitely plugged them enough on our podcast. They look fantastic. And they continue to look even better than their last series of posters every single time they come out with some. I know Dorney has some too, just expanding a bit, Knott's, maybe, Carowinds does. They're all so
There's
nice.
also a couple non-Cedar Fair parks that have them too, like Holiday World, yeah. And even if the parks have not like licensed Made to Thrill to say like this is the ride name. Like I have a couple in my room. I'm looking at one right now of Mako, and it doesn't tell you it's Mako. It just says
Orlando, Florida.
Yep, Orlando, Florida, 2017 or whatever.
Yeah,
and they have Cedar Fair ones that are like that too. Like
yeah,
that just
from
say Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah, it was before they got the Cedar Fair deal.
Yep.
My mom has the Beast and Mystic Timbers, but they're unlicensed and just says Mason, Ohio, and those are all equally as nice as the ones that they do for the parks. So check out the Made to Thrill website and check out any of the Cedar Fair
I
park
will
websites for those.
I will say definitely check out the Made to Thrill site. However, most all of the Cedar Fair prints are exclusive to the Cedar Fair shops. So like you can go online to Made to Thrill's website and look at all of the prints from Cedar Fair and Knott's and Kings Island, but you can't actually buy them. You have to buy them through the park.
Yep.
Right.
For sure. And then I will go next, and this is going to be Kings Island. So Kings Island, I don't know if anybody remembers, but Cedar Point came out with a pretty much like a 150th like book of like photographs and things that they came out with, like a coffee table book that you can look through and look at all the pictures and stuff and everything. Well, Kings Island just recently, within the last few days, released one. It's called Kings Island, a photographic journey. Looking through that on their website, you can see like all kinds of different pictures. Kings Island just had its 50th birthday, so you can see like what it used to look like back in the day. A lot of colored photos and stuff. I'm really excited I'm actually, when I'm at the park this weekend, I'm actually going to pick this up because it looks really cool, because it says there's over 200 pages of colored photos. There's concept art and blueprints.
It looks really cool.
I know it's $75, so it's a little bit pricey, but if you buy it now on Kings Island's website, and if you buy it before, let's see, so if we have this air either tonight or tomorrow, it says if you get like their ground shipping, it is guaranteed by Christmas. But if it doesn't come before Christmas, like I said, print out a placeholder, print out a Kings Island logo or Cedar Point logo or whatever, and be like, hey, I got you something. It didn't come for Christmas, but you'll be surprised here in the next few days.
Order it by noon on the 14th, though. They're saying it will get here by Christmas.
And then also, if you order it by the New Year's by 12/31/22, you actually get 10% off when you buy it online, which is kind of cool. So
there's your pass holder discount.
Yeah, so you get your pass holder discount online, which is really cool. But then again, like also like go to all the other Cedar Fair parks. They've got a ton, like Cedar Fair parks, especially Cedar Point. They're adding like tons of different ornaments, ride ornaments, Snoopy ornaments, peanut ornaments, all kinds of different ride collections, hoodies, jackets, T-shirts, and just on Kings Island's website, on also all the other Cedar Fair parks. So yeah, definitely check them out. And like I said, if it won't come before Christmas, at least you'll be able to check them out, and yeah, so
you could do that, or you could use Carstens courier service. That's what I'm gonna do. That seems like the easier option.
Yeah, for sure.
Buy this for me, please.
Yeah,
and driver, your car gets good gas.
You guys laugh, but that text is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want to come in?
Can I add something that I completely forgot about that I don't know is if it's on the website or not?
Yeah, I watched you type it into the show notes, so it must be really important.
So I don't know. It's really stupid, but it's cheap, and I don't think it's on the Kings Island website. So if you are old enough to have gone to Coney Island, the park that spawned Kings Island, or if you're just a coaster dork and know about old amusement parks, the Kings Island up in I think it's called KI Gear, the one right up in the main entrance.
Yeah, that's off to the left.
As you're coming into the park, yes, the left.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the gear shop or whatever they call it.
So they have this book called Coney Island, or Goodbye Coney Island, Goodbye or something. It's like $7, and it looks. I swear Kings Island must have like found this in an attic somewhere. It's definitely from like the 80s. It's got like that old book smell, but it's like that coffee table book that Kings Island has produced, but for Coney Island
that's cool.
Island. Yeah, it's like $7 or $8.
Okay.
Most of them have like water damage on them, like they're super like beat up and stuff. And Kings Island's clearly just trying to get rid of them. But if you find a decent copy, it's cool for some historical pictures of a Cincinnati landmark. So
yeah, that's a good
online.
find.
But if not, if you go to Winterfest, definitely go buy them. I already got my copy. So.
I'm gonna definitely buy that for sure. That's cool.
Yes. See, it was important, Kyle.
Yeah,
that was. Yeah.
I watched you type in, "I have something to talk about," and then delete it. So like, I wasn't sure, but
yeah, I just didn't. I don't know. Didn't want I don't know.
It's all good.
For our archives, I didn't want to add.
You guys are like blowing my mind. I didn't realize we had like live notes going through the through the podcast. So
better than sending messages and having ding.
Well,
ding.
the show notes, the show notes we use every week. If anyone wants behind the scenes, we use a Google Docs form, so it's editable between all of us. and we get live updates. So like I can watch you like type in and then misspell something and then like backstroke a couple times. Kyle,
That
I'm
explains
not
why
gonna
the
read
show
what-
notes turn yellow throughout the day, throughout the podcast.
Yeah, Kyle's been doing that.
Yeah, every time we talk about something, I mark it yellow. That way I know we hit it.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right, so the last thing we have to talk about, I apologize, Evan, because this is not going to be super fun to you, but the last two topics are Florida-based.
I love hearing about it because it just gets me hyped for whenever I go.
Yeah, so I'm going to start this story, and then you can jump in, Karsten. But it was like 2 Wednesdays ago. I get a call at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon from Karsten. And that's how you know it's important, because he doesn't call me very much, especially in the middle of the day. And I was like, what the hell is he talking? Like, what's he want? So I call him back, and he's like, hey, so a lot just happened, and I'm coming down this weekend. Can I stay with you? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah. That's too funny. No,
Man.
yeah, for sure. Keep going,
Where'd you
Kyle.
go?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but Justin needed a few more flights to get to that like next level of Delta rewards. So this
Yep.
was kind of like he was burning a weekend trip, buying 2 fares.
Yep.
So they came down. Justin and our announcer Justin and Carson came down to visit, and we went to Busch Gardens, Tampa, as well as I want to take a couple minutes and talk about the antique mall we went to on the way to Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Busch Tampa was kind of the main reason for their trip. They got a convertible, which do you kind of want to explain how that happened?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, so we're like flying first class because Justin's like that high up on the list, and so we're like, I'm like, Justin, like before the trip, I'm like, we should totally get a convertible. Like we're going to Florida. It's gonna be really, really nice out. Unless it rains, which it rains all the time there. But I'm like, why don't we get a convertible? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, no, really, come on, let's do it. So we got over there, and then I was like, we like walked around the lot. He's like, I can get anything. Like that's how high he is on the list again. And I'm like, well, let's get a convertible. He's like, all right, let's go look for one. We didn't see one. So we asked the lady, I'm like, do you guys have any more convertibles? She goes, oh yeah, just 1 second. We're like, oh, really? She's like, yeah. So like 15 minutes later, she pulls up with a convertible, and we're like, that's all right, Justin. That's it. He goes, oh my gosh. He's like, we're not going to be able to have room for like Kyle, Dean, and Abby. I'm like, oh well, they'll have to drive them separate. We're getting a convertible.
Yeah, so they rolled into my my parking lot with a convertible, a blue Mustang.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you, for those two, driving the like 65 miles from my apartment to Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay was probably pretty fun. But for me, I could not hear a damn thing. And I also did not have like the windshield to protect me. So I was like, what? What are you guys talking about? Huh?
Well, that was great because I'd be talking to you, and all of a sudden you'd be like, yeah, and I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't think Kyle, I don't feel like he knows exactly what I'm saying. I think he's just agreeing.
Yeah.
All his hair's all like messed up and all everywhere, and he's like, this is great. I'm like, you want to switch? You're like, no.
So on the way to, we were all very like, this is the last minute trip. We didn't do any planning. We're not going to put a whole lot of pressure on anything we do. So we kind of took our sweet time getting to Busch Gardens, Tampa. And from my apartment to Busch Tampa, it is about exactly an hour, like on the dot.
Yeah.
So about 30 minutes in, we pass a town called Lakeland. And Lakeland has an antique mall. And it is where all of the theme park props from Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, all those places end
But
up.
we really need to emphasize Disney.
It is
Disney.
It is mostly Disney, and then
Lots of
also a lot of Universal. But
Yeah, it's super cool.
yeah, Universal used to do that themselves. They had they called it the Williams of Hollywood. We called it the Prop Shop. But since that has gone away, all of that stuff has kind of found its way to the Lakeland Antique Mall. So it is huge, and I don't know. I don't know, Evan, if you know how an antique mall works, but it's all independent vendors, and you rent out booth space. So it's all of these like theme park collectors, and they just rent booth space and sell props. And I don't know how they get their hands on some of it. Like right as soon as you walk in the door, when we were there was a big raptor from Jurassic, the Velocicoaster. So like I don't know who got that.
The ride just opened.
Yeah, but it was all like beat up, and like there was some of the siding was missing on it. So
Maybe it was from the hurricane.
honestly, it might have been. There were like ride vehicles from old Disney dark rides. There was like park use props, and
I mean, I did want you to get that one that was like $35,000, but
yeah, they had a ride vehicle for Magic Kingdom that they wanted $35,000 for.
that one.
From what ride?
One of the little spinny, like they call it Astro Orbiter. It's a little
yeah.
spinny rocket ride.
Yeah, I remember that ride.
I mean, that'd be a great, like, hey, come on over to the apartment. Make sure you take a selfie in our awesome, cool, like, ride vehicle.
Yeah.
Could start charging for photos.
Yeah, and Justin doing what he does, he's like, there was a lot of the hotel rooms from Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, like the bedside tables and the bed frames and everything. He's like, oh yeah, no wonder that there's like 50 of these. I just sold them all new beds last week.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it's really cool. Some of the stuff is pretty expensive, and some of it's also kind of cheap. So it really just depends. But if you're ever driving through Lakeland, it's right off I-4, like literally right off the exit. It's huge. You could spend like 5 hours there if you wanted to. We only spent like an hour. But
that's super cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
I was wondering why you guys got to the park so late, but like that makes sense, and it's totally worthy.
Yeah, and then we kept driving to Busch Gardens Tampa with apparently everybody else in Florida, because I have never seen that park that busy. Good God.
That was nice and busy for sure.
It was. The parking lot was almost 100% full, which normally when you go to Busch Gardens Tampa, you're the only person there. So that was like our first red flag. And then, it was just crazy packed. So thanks to Justin's Platinum Pass, we got half off Quick Queue. So we all bought unlimited Quick Queue for like $50 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, which includes one ride on Iron Gwazi, but we actually got two because we went and we did it once. And then towards the end of the night, I was like, let's just go up and play dumb and scan our Quick Queue again and see if it works. And it did. They let us on again.
Cool.
Yeah. It was great.
The rideouts probably figured, it was busy enough today. We all dealt with a lot. Might as well.
Well, the thing is when we scanned it, it was like a green. So,
they
works out.
The first time
Tampa was fixing that bug as we speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the first time we went on Iron Gwazi, the first time we went on, like, I don't know if they scanned it. They just like took it away from us for a minute and like walked behind a wall and came back. So we're walking up to try to scan this thing. Like, park closes in 5 minutes, and I thought they were just gonna look at it and send us through. And they get our scanner out, and I'm like, oh, we're done for. Like, this is it. Nope, we're gonna get turned away. And I watched her scan Carstens, and it turned green, and she's like, all right, you're good to go. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, well, if you guys aren't green, I'll see you guys at the exit.
See you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and credit to Busch Gardens where credit is due. It was a very busy day, and for the most part, their operations on all other rides except Iron Gwazi were like pretty good. Iron Gwazi didn't have a grouper to merge the Quick Queue and regular line, so it was kind of a free-for-all in the station. And then
that was a little interesting.
Yeah, and then they only had 2 station attendants, so like their load procedure is kind of weird. So you go through and everybody buckles, and then they go through and check everybody's seat, and then you go push down the lap bar, and then they go back there and check everybody's seat again.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and Iron Gwazi isn't the most I don't know a good way to say this. It's not very fat friendly. So people have a problem with not fitting on the ride. So the first time we rode Iron Gwazi, we were hitting like 4-minute dispatches. It was just abysmal.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But again, credit where credit is due. At the end of the night, we went back and they had a grouper and they had 4 seat checkers and they had 2 people on controls and they were just banging out trains. So
they were flying.
You must have just hit it during their break time or something.
No, 2 is the norm. Every time I've gone to Busch Gardens Tampa, 2 has been the norm.
I got to ask, and I think we mentioned this on the last episode, but RMCs have been around for a while, and they all have like the standard, like, just don't pull down your own lap bar, but like they don't do what Busch Gardens is doing with it. why is Busch Gardens feeling the need to be so different and slower with it?
Well, fun fact, most theme parks in the country comply with a outside compliance division called IROC, International Ride Operation Certification. And that's what determines things like safe zones and operating procedures and stuff like that. Busch Gardens does not do that. So they're a little more free in the way that they operate their rides. Like some of their buttons, not like safety critical buttons, but some of their like, gate buttons are, easily accessible to guests if they wanted to. They could just kind of reach over and touch them. And they don't do like the thumbs up, all clear. They don't do that announcing. They just send the ride. So the way that the Busch SeaWorld chain operates their rides is pretty different from the way that most other parks in the country operate, purely because they are not part of the IROC, because you don't have to do it. It's just kind of, normally if you do IROC, you get a lower insurance premium on your rides because you're being more safe, but there's no law that says you have to be compliant.
And I guess, stuff. God forbid something does happen, the fact that they're not with IROC probably would look pretty bad.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Not to say that their ride operations are any less safe than any other park in the country.
If anything, they sound like they're more safe the way they're doing GOCC.
Yeah, it's just they do things a little bit differently.
Interesting.
But the review that probably most of you are dying to hear is how Carsten liked Iron GOCC.
Well, Kyle, I'm sorry to say this, but it's definitely not my number one.
Yeah, I figured. I really love that thing.
I can see why it is your number one, though, because it's really, I don't know, it's really, it's intense, but it's not like, so how I can categorize it as is Iron GOCC is intense, but Steel Vengeance is intense, insane kind of thing. Like it's got the added onto it kind of thing. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like, it is relentless. It is very forceful and very good, but it is not crazy intense and ejector crazy like Steel Vengeance. Like it feels like you're right. Like Steel Vengeance, to kind of break it down a little bit, it almost feels like you're like a bull rider, and like the bull is trying to like get you off of him. To where Iron GOCC's like, okay, well, you're riding along and you're just, I mean, it's not nonchalantly, but it's very, so that's just to break it down like that, I guess. At least that's my opinion. And I know some other people like you, Kyle, and other people have said it's better. So
my opinion is exactly what you said, that it is.
And that's why you like it better.
Yeah. It's super intense and super fast, but it doesn't toss you around and make you, it
is very reliable or rewritable though. Yeah, I would definitely.
That's why I like it. Steel Vengeance is awesome and it's really good. And like, let's be honest, whether or not it's my number one or not, which who knows? I don't even know if it is or not, but it's one of the best roller coasters in the country. I mean, probably the world. Yeah. But for me, I get tired after riding that thing because you're constantly you're constantly bracing and getting tossed and thrown. And Iron GOCC is, just as fast and just as tall and just as steep, but it doesn't throw you around like a rag doll, and it makes it more re-rideable. That's why I like it better.
That's definitely how I felt about Zadra when I was in Poland.
It was great. It was good. Can't complain with it. Very smooth, like obviously just like Steel Vengeance, and it's fun. So
so we got our 2 Iron GOCC rides. We got Cobra's Curse. We got 2 on Cheetah Hunt. We got Montu. We got
Kumba.
Oh no, we didn't do Kumba. What's a Tigress?
Scorpion,
we did Tigress. We didn't do Scorpion.
Is Shikra still down?
Shikra was still down.
Shikra was still down.
But I mean, all in all, we spent like 4.5 hours there, and it was a great time. I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we definitely killed the park with how much time we had and how busy it was.
I have never seen that park with half that many people in it, let alone how many people were in it. I mean, good, kind of like you were talking about, Evan, good on Busch Gardens for something marketing wise worked, because people were there, people were spending money. Like it was a good night for them.
For sure.
And then we came home and slept in the next day. And then we went to SeaWorld the next day and got Carsten his second new credit of the trip, Icebreaker.
Yep. That's a fun little ride. I definitely would love to see Cedar Point or Kings Island or a Cedar Fair park or parks that are by us. Like
something within like 3 or 4 hours, please.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but like going forward, you're like, okay, cool, whatever. And then you go backwards and you don't expect that airtime hump before you go up.
Yeah, they put a tiny little airtime hill when you're going backwards.
Kyle and I have been saying about Pantheon.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets you. It just gives you all the feels, all the butterflies, and all everything that you'd want in like a coaster. And then you're like all giggly, and you're just like, oh, I don't know what's going on, and just going back and forth. And it's very fast, like how it switches track back and forth and everything. It's a good coaster though. It's solid.
Evan, for comparison for you, since you haven't been on Icebreaker, it's very similar to the backwards airtime on Pantheon, but it is more snappy and it's more intense because it is a smaller element in a compact coaster.
Oh,
okay.
Because I thought the Pantheon one was pretty break your legs off.
I guess I'm just gonna have to go down to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and settle it and see which one's more poppier or snappier.
Only a couple people will understand this, and neither of you will, but some of our listeners might. I got a little bit of a gut on me, and the airtime on Icebreaker, will rip my gut out from underneath the lap bar and then just plop it down on top. Like, that's how intense the backwards airtime is.
Hey, that's a good. That puts it in perspective, I guess.
Yeah, that's how intense it is. Yeah, go.
Does it have the comfort collars?
It does, and they're terrible.
Yeah. But you don't really notice them, Evan. You really don't. At least I didn't.
I don't mind the comfort collars. I mind a lot how narrow those seats are. You cannot fit your legs through them.
Yeah. You need to be like,
those are just weird trains.
I don't even know. Like
even Kennywood Skyrocket, which is the same train without the comfort collars, it's just weird.
But Kennywood Skyrocket is still as narrow. Like, you can't.
I don't understand.
There's not room to walk.
How you can't add a few more inches either way to let your legs freaking through.
Or just look at other manufacturers' trains and just scrap this idea.
Like if you're like, I think it's like that because they want to make sure that your ankles are secure. But okay, well then why don't we I don't know, have some kind of mechanism that comes in and clasps your ankles or something. That way you can have free movement, because I'm pulling half my pants off trying to get off the freaking coaster. Oh my gosh.
Old Premier trains like Flight of Fear. And Backlot Stunt Coaster. Why are there trains like this?
I don't know.
And then
we'll have to have them on and we can ask that question.
Yeah, there we go. The only other ride that we did at SeaWorld that day was Mako. Besides Mako and Icebreaker, we did a couple aquarium exhibits. We did the sharks, and we went to the big stingray reef tank by Manta. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
But it was a real low stress, just kind of, we're here for the fun of it. What we get done is what we get done.
It was literally a day trip. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
Justin, the next time that you have flights you want to use.
Well, my goodness. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but since that trip, Justin has already been back to Orlando.
Really?
He has.
He went home. He flew home on Sunday, back to Detroit, and then flew back to Orlando that Wednesday.
Well, he's also, like I said, he's trying to get that flight status. He's also flying. I can't remember when. I think it's the week before Christmas, so next week. He's flying to Atlanta, hanging around the airport for 5 or 6 hours, and then flying back. So.
Well, he was in Dallas this weekend, wasn't he?
That was for work.
He's all over. So you might see our awesome favorite neighborhood announcer, Justin. So.
If you ever hear anybody on the phone the rundown on fun, it's Justin.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Kylie, so you got to go to an awesome Mickey's Christmas party. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the only other thing I have to talk about is what we did on Sunday, which was Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party over at Magic Kingdom. So Disney is good for doing these. They call them parties. These kind of after hours, but not really, events where they close the park early. So like they close the park at like 6:00, and then they sell you a ticket to come back in, but there's certain like perks and benefits. So for the Christmas party, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was expensive. It was over $150 for like a 6-hour party.
Wow.
Okay, but it probably went till like midnight or something, right?
It went from you could get into the park. The park closed at 6. You could get into the park at 4. So in addition to buying the party tickets, you got like the last 2 or 3 hours of park operation to do what you wanted.
Like a wristband or something.
Yeah, you got a wristband. But what makes these parties so cool is the fact that they do a special fireworks show and a special parade and special stage shows, and you can meet and greet different kinds of characters. They normally give things out for free. So for the Christmas party, there was a brand new fireworks show that they only run during the party. And think about that for a second. A Disney fireworks show. They go all out. So, they probably spent, just for our night alone in pyrotechnics, probably about $150,000 on that show.
Wow.
Just for one show.
This
will never happen again.
Well, I mean, the party happens like 3 times a week, but
oh, okay.
but just for
was
that,
there a lot of people at this party?
So a normal day, the Magic Kingdom capacity is about 90,000 people.
Okay.
They capped this.
God.
They capped this party at 20,000. So
Okay.
it feels very dead, and the waits for the rides are not long.
Is the whole park open?
The whole park is open.
Essentially, it's like Wild Frontier Nights, kind of, right?
Kind of, but there's a lot more to do. So
Okay.
the whole park's open. I already told you we got the special fireworks show. There is a special parade, like a 35-minute parade that, again, they only run during the party. Everybody for going in the gate got a free ornament, like a free nice metal Christmas ornament that said Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party 2022.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
You got a free poster, like a free 11x14 print of the Christmas party, like logo and Mickey and Minnie in front of the
That's
castle.
cool.
And then the biggest value factor for most people would be that at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, you get unlimited free cookies, hot chocolate, eggnog, and apple cider.
Eggnog? Ooh.
It's non-alcoholic because,
I don't need alcohol on my eggnog. I just, like when I worked at Starbucks, I get a Trenta-sized eggnog and literally would just drink all of that.
Yeah, so throughout the park,
You got me at the apple cider.
throughout the park, they had like 7 of what they called the like treat trails or whatever, where you go up and you literally just walk up to the window and they're like, "Hi, how many cookies do you want?" 10. All right, here's 10 cookies. How many hot chocolates do you want? 4. Okay, here's 4 hot chocolates. So we got into the habit of every time we went to get, the cookies too, they're different at each one of the 6 locations. So like one of them is a sugar cookie, and the other one's a frosted, and the other one's snickerdoodle, and the other one's gingerbread, like stuff like that.
That's so cool.
So we got.
Are these homemade cookies or are they?
So they are not like the crappy manufactured cookies. They actually get them from I think it's like Cheryl's Bakery. Like it's a worldwide thing.
Oh, so it's like a bakery that like makes them. So they're like, they're not
GFS,
homemade, but they can make a big bunch of them at a time.
Correct. And they are also individually wrapped, just for like cross-contamination purposes and gluten allergies and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we got into the habit of when we went up to get a cookie, we'd get like 2 or 3 extra and stuff them in Dean's backpack. So at the end of the night, we got home and we just dumped out the mountain of cookies, and we had over 75 cookies.
Now the real question is, and everybody's wondering what that's listening, is how many cookies are left?
Quite a few.
I was actually going to ask that.
We, probably like 60. We haven't eaten that many because, when you have like 6 hours of cookie eating as much as you can eat, you're kind of sick of them for a few days.
Yeah.
The only cookie that I get at an amusement park is like the Coaster Mania cookie that's like wrapped and it's like,
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It snows throughout the entire event. Like it snows on Main Street, and there's special characters you can meet that like aren't out in the parks at other times.
You guys get to meet Pooh, right?
Yeah, so we met Pooh and all his friends from the 100 Acre Woods. They're not usually out during the day. We met a couple other characters that like only come out for Christmas, and they're all the characters when they are out for Christmas, they're wearing Christmas gear.
Oh wow!
So it's
cute.
Like I
That's
don't
the extra step.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay. Like it was an expensive ticket, and if you try to take a
But
family
it
of
sounds
4,
like, I mean, you said you get a poster, you get an ornament, you get as many cookies as you want, you get
Basically
hot
ERC
chocolate, which
for
you don't
4
need in
hours.
Florida because it's not cold.
yeah, and you get the special
Eggnog.
shows and entertainment.
Yeah.
So
and for you said what, for like 6 hours?
Yeah, so I could have gotten in.
So
I could have gotten into the park at 3:00.
okay.
And it went on until midnight.
That's
And
good.
the park closed
Plus,
at
you
6?
said there's only like 20,000 people in the park. I mean, that's not bad. If you
'Cause-
want to just ride, like, it's just like Wild Frontier Nights. It's like buy $100 ticket.
Oh,
and ride the rides.
Yeah, I forgot a really cool part too. A lot of the rides have Christmas overlays that only operate during the Christmas party. So like Space Mountain,
Disney.
if we're talking about Space Mountain, the ride building has like projections of like a rocket on it, and it's like lit up red and green. And then you go into the ride, and normally it's like pitch black. No, there's like lasers and lights just pulsing like red and green and Christmas
that's so
colors,
cool.
and they're blasting like Christmas rave music. It's so much fun.
Well, you
so
guys
cool.
got room in that room behind you. I'm gonna move in for the holidays.
Yeah.
Evan, you want to join?
Yeah.
So
I'll sleep on the
it's
floor.
definitely not something that you have to do multiple times a year. But
It sounds like it though.
well, the thing is, I know that 20,000 people sounds like a lot, but at a park built for 90, that's not that many.
No, that's
So
yeah.
the thing is,
When most people are there for the shows and stuff and the food.
Yeah,
if
you-
you want to go off and ride rides.
yeah, you can pretty much get like everything done.
And that's just at which park did you say it was?
So that is at Magic Kingdom. So they do 2 of these parties. They do Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and they also do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. The Halloween is the same kind of idea. Interchange everything I said except for the cookies. It's candy. You get to go trick-or-treating inside the park.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
So
I love it.
yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. It was a lot of fun.
Need to get to Florida.
Right?
Evan,
You gotta get those credits.
You tell me a weekend that you want to come down, and we'll make it happen.
I know. See, in return, you got to tell my wallet to make it happen.
Hey, I mean, you got a place to stay.
I know,
I
you don't have to
that
worry
makes it
about-
cheaper, but
You don't have to worry about a flight
expensive.
or a car because Kyle could be both of those.
I
I
know.
mean, not a flight. I'm sorry. A place to stay, and
It's
and-
the
and you
it's
can
the
drive
it's
around.
over $100 to get into any of those parks for a day. That's just
yeah, it's true.
I'm not going to talk about it on air, but we have a lot of economical ways for you to get into these parks for very, very cheap.
I was thinking about that. We'll talk.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know about
I'm glad you offered that up first.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like we've been recording forever. I guess when we don't record for 2
I was
weeks.
gonna say it almost sounds
Boy,
like
really
we're
only
gonna
been
we're
an
gonna
hour.
use we're gonna bring out Kyle's credit card and he's gonna buy you some tickets.
That was not what I was talking about.
I mean, he can if he wants. If anybody wants to donate listening to the show,
Well, all right.
try to GoFundMe.
So
Get
here's
Evan
the
to
deal.
Orlando.
Here's the deal. Starting January 1, we're going to put out a Patreon, right? And that Patreon, that'll fund your Orlando vacation.
Can we actually do it and see how many suckers give me money?
We gotta think of some perks to do that.
You get a water bottle with a sticker on it.
Maybe we actually ask the fans on. Well, it doesn't really work a whole lot on Facebook for like asking questions per se, like as in like polls, but like maybe we can do something like either actual have them go to a link and say, hey, what do you like and what do you don't like about the podcast, and would you pay a few extra dollars to do something?
And what would you want in return for giving us $1, $2, whatever?
Yeah.
Kind of. We'll talk. Anyways, behind the scenes again for people that are still.
Yeah, right.
So
Like if for instance, like we put a bit like, do you guys like to hear about what happens behind the scenes? Heck no, it's stupid and I don't want to hear about that. I just want to hear about coasters and riding Cedar Point rides and stop talking about Florida. Like, okay.
So this actually,
but don't say that. 'Cause I like talking about Florida.
No, I mean, what else are you going to talk about in the off season if we want to keep this going? I mean, obviously we talk about Cedar Point during the season and Kings Island and all that stuff. But like when there's not a ton of
we
news,
don't want to alienate Kyle because he lives in Florida.
Right. And also we post it or we talk about this stuff at the end of the podcast. So if you're still listening, it's kind of like a little bonus little episode, you know?
Yeah. And this is actually a pretty important episode for us. This is our 20th episode.
Whoop, whoop.
And
finally made it.
For those of you who've been listening for all 20, for probably 10 of those, I promised you guys outro music and like an actual outro announcement. And that is debuting tonight, finally.
Wow.
So
it finally happened.
I think we've droned on. Yeah, I think we've droned on long enough. So I'm going to click play. And we're going to have about 35 seconds of lead time before Justin takes us out. And the big noticeable change is I am no longer going to say my famous catchphrase. That is going to come from Justin. So
that's
all
awesome.
Right.
Here we go.
I totally haven't heard it yet.
But all it took was Justin driving away to Florida in a convertible to Kyle's house and to record.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, thank you all for sticking around. We will be back hopefully next week. We'll try to squeeze in one more. But if we don't talk to you, Merry Christmas.
Yep. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's almost
New Year's. Everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. And we will see you next week, hopefully. Good night. And we're going to let Justin take it away.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.